Amigos de tus propias palabras, buenas tardes, soy Alejandro Ruiz y el día de hoy tenemos la grata presencia del excelentísimo embajador Chirachai Punkrasin de Tailandia. Y antes de referirme a él, lo que vamos a comentar es que este programa va a ser hablado en inglés por parte del embajador, nos va a ser nuestro traductor del canal, el licenciado Ernesto Terroba, nos va a hacer favor de traducirlo y yo estaré platicando con ustedes sobre lo que está comentando, haciendo las preguntas y comentando algunas cosas más adicionales a lo que el embajador está señalando. Pues bueno, esto es una gran oportunidad para nosotros. El año pasado estuvimos en la Embajada de Tailandia, compañeros de Astele, y la verdad, verdaderamente honrados, porque tuvo con nosotros un acercamiento agradable, bueno y sobre todo nos hizo sentir en casa. El día de hoy nosotros queremos hacer sentir en casa al embajador y vamos a empezar a platicar un poquito de todo lo que representa Tailandia para el mundo y sobre todo cómo fortalecer los vínculos comerciales, familiares y sobre todo de apoyo y solidaridad con México. Y empezamos, si te parece bien. Embajador Chirachai Punkrasin, antes que nada, ¿cómo se siente en México? ¿Cuál es su experiencia en México?
Hello, Mr. Ambassador. Thank you so much for coming here to our program. And first of all, we would like to ask you, how do you feel here in your stay in Mexico?
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Alejandro, for your invitation for me to be here with you and with your viewers today.
Muchas gracias por haberme invitado y por darme la oportunidad de estar con tus televidentes aquí el día de hoy.
I apologize that I am not able to converse with you in Spanish, although I have been here for over a year, but I'm still trying to learn Spanish, so I will have to talk to you in English.
Se disculpa brevemente por no hablar todavía el español, a pesar que llevo un año y pico aquí en México, pero que lo está aprendiendo y que espera poderlo aprender en poco tiempo.
Well, I've been in Mexico now for over 1 year, 1 year and 8 months to be exact, and I have been enjoying it very much.
Él ha estado aquí en México por 1 año y 8 meses y lo ha gozado, le ha gustado mucho su estancia aquí en el país, estoy muy a gusto.
Both my wife and I enjoy being here, and we feel very much at home here in Mexico. And I think that is because there are many similarities between Mexico and Thailand, especially the people.
El embajador y su esposa se han sentido muy a gusto aquí en México, se han sentido como en su casa y cree que se debe principalmente a las similitudes que hay entre Tailandia y México.
And I think that we have found the Mexican people to be very warm and very hospitable. And everywhere we've gone in your country, we have always felt welcome. And I think that is a very similar trait or similarities between Thai people and Mexican people. We're both very warm and friendly and always easygoing and welcoming to foreign visitors.
Dice que tanto él como su mujer se han sentido en casa aquí en México, que la gente es muy hospitalaria, muy cálida, muy extrovertida y amigable, lo cual lo hace sentir como si estuviera también en Tailandia.
Mexico is my first assignment as ambassador, and this is the first time that I've been here as a posting, as an assignment. But I had visited Mexico many years ago. The first time I was here was in 1998, and then also again in 2002 when I had the opportunity to come and visit Mexico over 10 times in that year.
El embajador, esta es su primera asignación, digamos, oficial en representación de su país, pero ya había estado en México en ocasiones anteriores, la primera vez en el 98 y posteriormente en el año 2002. Dice que en el transcurso de ese año estuvo aquí como unas 10 veces.
So I was very much looking forward to being able to come back here and to work in Mexico, representing my country, because I knew that Mexico had so much to offer, both in terms of my own stay here and being able to enjoy the country, visiting various parts of the country, and also to meet and make friends with the Mexican people.
Dice que a raíz de esas visitas que había hecho, él esperaba de alguna manera representar algún día su país para poder establecer estos vínculos con el pueblo de México.
But at the same time, I think I also saw that Mexico as a country, and particularly as an economy, had so much to offer and had great potential for us to do much more together in terms of the trade and economic relations, investment, and so forth.
Asimismo, se dio cuenta de que México es un gran país con el cual puede incrementarse el comercio de su país con el nuestro y viceversa.
Unfortunately, perhaps because of the distance between our two countries and because of the cultural differences, language, and so forth, we have not had as much in terms of relations and trade relations as much as we should be doing.
Dice que desafortunadamente, debido a la gran distancia que separa nuestros países y tal vez a diferencias culturales y también de idioma, todavía no se han estrechado ni fortalecido los vínculos comerciales de la manera potencialmente que lo ve el embajador.
But I'm happy to say that that has been changing over the last few years, and that volume of trade between our two countries has been expanding. In the last 5 years or so, it has doubled, and each year it tends to increase maybe 10-15% every year. So that is a good sign that there are more trade and more relations between our two countries.
Que el gran potencial que hay de comercio entre los dos países, a partir de hace unos 5 años a la fecha, se ha incrementado, de hecho se ha duplicado, y él prevé un incremento del 10-15% anual a este ritmo.
At the moment, well, for last year, 2013, our trade was in the region of $2.6 billion US, which is not a great deal in terms of our overall trade for both either Mexico or Thailand. But I think as an indication of the volume of trade that is increasing, I think it's a good size, a good number. It makes us Mexico is the number 2 trading partner of Thailand in Latin America,
Really?
after Brazil.
Mm.
So I think the trend is there, and I think the opportunities, the potential is there, and that is part of my job as ambassador here in Mexico, is to try to increase that.
Dice que en el año 2013 el volumen de comercio entre ambos países fue de 2.6 billones de dólares, que no, a pesar de no ser algo sumamente representativo del volumen total de su comercio, ha generado una tendencia, y en América son su segundo más importante socio después de Brasil en términos de comercio.
Embajador Chirachai, ¿qué nos ofrece Tailandia a los mexicanos? ¿Y qué debemos conocer de Tailandia a los mexicanos?
Mr. Ambassador, he's asking you what does Thailand has to offer to all Mexicans, and what can we go see there in Thailand?
Well, I think that in terms of, again, if we go back to the trade opportunities, I think that there are many sectors or products where we can do good business with each other. I think, for instance, the automobile sector, where we both are very big global players. Mexico, I think, is the number 8 largest producers of automobiles in the world, and Thailand is number 9. And so we have a lot of commonalities there, and I think we have a lot of things to offer to each other, for instance, in that area.
Dice el señor embajador que en términos de comercio, principalmente en el sector automotriz, ya que México es el 8º país a nivel mundial de volumen productor de autopartes, y ellos son el noveno. Tenemos muchas similitudes en ese rango y espera que eso sea un gran incentivo para incrementar el comercio.
But I think as developing countries and as countries, middle income countries that are in the process of making that jump to the developed country status or upper middle income status, I think there are many experiences and many things that we can share with each other in terms of what we have experienced. For instance, in Thailand, we have a lot of experience in sustainable development, in agriculture, and I think that we can learn from each other in terms of exchanging news and experiences and know-how. And in the same way, I think Mexico has a lot of experience, for instance, in emergency preparedness, especially in earthquakes, and I think we can learn from Mexico in that area.
Dice el señor embajador que los países que estamos en vías de desarrollo con un nivel de ingreso medio podemos compartir muchas de nuestras experiencias y sacar de ahí beneficios mutuos, que en Tailandia ellos tienen gran experiencia en cuanto a la agricultura y en cuanto a todos los proyectos de sustentabilidad, y que México también podría aportar nuestras experiencias en cuanto a los terremotos que pues, aquí nos pegan bastante a menudo.
So I think that those kinds of experiences, which probably have real practical value and things that we can share with each other, are things that I think we need to try to develop and do more of these kind of exchanges. And what we have been trying to do at the embassy now is to promote these sort of exchanges and cooperation between Thailand and Mexico. We have at the moment some exchange programs, some programs where we invite participants from Mexico to come to Thailand and take part in some courses we offer, whether it's in agriculture, in health, in development, and so forth. And so we're working with Mexico in these sort of areas.
Okay. Dice que en este tipo de experiencias de valor práctico, él piensa que es donde se puede ganar mucho en el intercambio de experiencias entre los dos países, que hoy en día él ya tiene unos programas y los sigue promoviendo de intercambio de gente que vaya de México a Tailandia para ver lo de la agricultura, lo de salud y lo de la sustentabilidad.
But the other thing that we want to do, and I think that is very important, is what we call people-to-people relations, or if you want to use in terms of diplomacy, what we call soft diplomacy or public diplomacy. And it's trying to get to build relations at the people-to-people level amongst it, so that we create better understanding and better appreciation of each other's countries amongst the people.
Otra cosa que le parece muy importante que están promoviendo es promover la relación de persona a persona para que haya una comprensión y un entendimiento mejor de ambos países y culturas.
Perfecto. Gracias, maestro. ¿Qué pasa con las misiones comerciales? ¿Se están desarrollando, se están llevando a cabo?
What about the ongoing commercial missions there? I mean, the efforts to improve the commerce there.
Well, from my part, at the embassy here in Mexico, we have been going out to various parts of the country to try to, first of all, of course, to bring Thailand to those states and talk to them about what Thailand has to offer in terms of business opportunities, trade, investment. But at the same time, to also see what opportunities there may be for Thai investments or Thai businessmen to come and invest and do business in Mexico.
Por su parte, señor embajador, ha ido a varias partes de México para dar a conocer lo que es Tailandia y hacerles ver qué tipo de inversiones y qué tipo de oportunidades puede haber allá.
Usualmente en las prácticas de negocios, los países informan cómo hacer negocios en su país o con su país. ¿Qué hay con respecto de Tailandia?
Usually in terms of commerce and trade exchange, the countries inform other countries how to make this, to make yourself easy to do business with. What is Thailand doing nowadays in this regard?
Well, we have for many years now made investment in particular attracting foreign investment to Thailand. One of the priorities of the government, and each successive government has made this an important platform and an important policy in which we have tried to attract foreign investment. And we set up an agency which we call the Board of Investment to try to attract foreign investment into the country.
Okay. Dice que por ya varios gobiernos ya han creado lo que se llama un buró de inversión con los cuales se ha tratado de atraer inversión hacia Tailandia.
And I think we have been quite successful in attracting foreign investment and by offering various incentives through the Board of Investment, whether it's in terms of tax breaks or availability of infrastructure, land, and labor force to try to make Thailand an attractive investment destination.
Dice que él piensa que han sido muy exitosos en cuanto a la atracción de negocio extranjero, facilitándoles la obtención de tierras, con exenciones de impuestos, ciertas facilidades para que se establezcan ahí empresas extranjeras.
And I think we've been quite successful, I was saying, and we have been rated by the World Bank as in the top 20 in terms of ease of doing business in the country. And so we have been able to quite successfully attract quite a large amount of foreign investment. Now, this Board of Investment is also shifting some of its emphasis and trying to help Thai businesses to come to invest in other parts of the world, and that's what we have also been trying to do in Mexico. When I visited a number of states, I also have my investment officer, who is actually based in Los Angeles, also accompanying me on these visits. I've been to several states like Sinaloa, to Baja California, Coahuila, to try to look at the opportunities. And in the coming weeks, I am planning to go to Sonora to do this trade mission. At the same time, we have a trade mission coming from Thailand in the middle of this month, looking in particular at the automotive sector.
Okay. Dice que también han sido muy exitosos en cuanto a traer el capital extranjero a su país, tanto que el Banco Mundial los ha calificado en el número 20 del mundo. También él personalmente, el buró de inversión que crearon, ha aplicado o ha colocado inversiones en varias partes del mundo y de México en particular, tanto así que su consultor del buró personal, que está en Los Ángeles, lo ha acompañado a las misiones de aquí en México a ver varios estados de la República, como ya los mencionó, Sinaloa, California, etcétera, y que a mediados de este mes va a tener otra misión de visita aquí, una misión de comercio aquí en México para ver estos temas.
¿Cuáles son las principales oportunidades que tienen los mexicanos para invertir en Tailandia distintas a las del sector automotriz?
Mr. Ambassador, what are the main opportunities that the Mexican investors could have there in Thailand beside the automotive sector?
Well, at the moment we have, one Mexican company who is investing in Thailand in the automotive sector, Matalza from Monterrey. But we also have in the construction or sector like Cemex has invested in a cement factory. And we have Kitsania, who is in the education sector, has also invested and has partners in Thailand.
Menciona que además del sector automotriz, por ejemplo, el de la construcción, particularmente el del cemento, y el de la educación son los que han ofrecido oportunidades para los mexicanos allá.
Aquí, perdón, aquí nada más citaba dos casos que valen la pena, el de Cemex y el de Kitsania, ¿no?
Okay.
¿Ya? Y en este sentido, ¿qué hay para las micro, pequeñas y medianas empresas de México? ¿Están descartadas?
And in regards of the small companies, like not big factors or big economic partners, do you have any like opportunities for these small entrepreneurs?
Yes, I think there are opportunities there. Of course, it will need to be explored further, but I think that there are opportunities for small businesses to go and invest in Thailand in certain niche or sectors, or even in support of some of the major sectors. For instance, in the auto parts industry, that is something that small and medium companies, size companies can have opportunities there in Thailand.
Dice que sí hay ciertos nichos o sectores en los que pequeños empresarios pueden invertir, pero principalmente siente que es en el sector automotriz o apoyando la promoción del sector automotriz donde están las mayores oportunidades para ese tipo de empresas pequeñas.
Y al revés, en caso contrario, ¿es factible que las empresas micro, pequeñas y medianas de Tailandia vengan a hacer negocios a México?
And how likely do you think is for small and medium-sized companies from Thailand is to make business here in Mexico?
That is something that the government is trying to promote. In fact, we have, I think part of the trade mission that is coming in 2 weeks' time will be mostly small and medium-sized companies. The government in Thailand is trying to promote and support these small companies to come out and do business overseas. So they are supporting them and trying to show them what opportunities there may be in other countries. So that is something that we are trying to do. I think in the sectors that we have some strength in, for instance, in the the automotive sector, but also in terms of food production, in the food and ready-to-eat foods and restaurants and those sectors that where we see that there is potential or opportunities for us to expand abroad.
Dice que su gobierno también ha pensado en la promoción de negocios de pequeñas y medianas empresas aquí en México, y de hecho la misión que viene en 2 semanas trae este objetivo de promover tanto la mediana como pequeña industria en términos de restaurantes, producción de comida y una vez más del sector automotriz.
Yo quisiera aquí preguntar, ¿cuáles son los grandes triunfos que ha tenido el gobierno para el impulso de la economía en Tailandia?
In your words, what do you think have been the greatest achievements of the Thailand government in order to promote the success of the economy?
Well, I think that I think most of all, and the important thing I think that the government has done, or successive government has done, has tried to promote the economy as a major trading country. We are now perhaps 70 or 80% of our economy is based on trade, and much of it is foreign trade. And part of the success of being a successful trading company, trading country, is that we have been able to diversify the products or the services that we have to offer to the world. in the 1960s, early 70s, Thailand was still a predominantly agricultural country. Our main exports was rice, rubber, and other agricultural products.
Okay, dice que a través de una diversificación de productos y de servicios es el mejor logro que ha hecho, porque hoy en día su país depende del 70-80% del comercio, mientras que en los 60 dependían básicamente de la agricultura, de la exportación de arroz y de rubber, ¿cómo se dice? Hule.
En ese sentido, perdón, sorry.
But in the last 2 or 3 decades, the economy has diversified. We are now become a manufacturing economy, and the services sector has also become an important part of our economy, whether it's in terms of the tourism and the hospitality sector, or whether it's in terms of medical services. That's also become a very, very important part of economy. So that's, I think, that we were able to diversify and expand the economy has been part of our success over the last 30, 43 years.
Dice que gran parte del éxito en las últimas 2 o 3 décadas ha sido que se ha convertido también en una economía de manufactura, no solamente de comercio, y además de que ha diversificado los servicios tanto de salud, hospitales y de turismo. Thanks so much, Mr. Ambassador.
Okay. Si les parece bien, hacemos una pequeña pausa y volvemos. Esto es en tus propias palabras y tenemos el gusto de estar con el embajador de Tailandia, Chirachai, Punkrasin. Regresamos.
Ruiz Robles, corredores públicos y peritos traductores. Trabajamos para darles seguridad, confianza y un servicio profesional en sus asuntos relacionados a fe pública, valuación, arbitraje comercial, asesoría jurídica y traducciones. Para nosotros lo más importante es su satisfacción, brindándole además la asesoría jurídica necesaria en su negocio, con un equipo de profesionales capacitados para prevenir y resolver situaciones de riesgo en su empresa. Le aseguramos una asistencia profesional personalizada y humana a quien consideramos más importante, el cliente, porque las oportunidades pequeñas son el principio de las grandes empresas.
Durante 7 décadas, Dayman ha desarrollado una amplia gama de colorantes, saborizantes y productos semipreparados que satisfacen los requerimientos de la industria de alimentos, así como las necesidades y gustos de los clientes y consumidores a nivel nacional e internacional.
Con Trujillo Betanzos y Asociados, tus proyectos están en buenas manos. Trujillo Betanzos y Asociados te ofrece servicios de fe pública en materia mercantil, asesoría legal, contable, fiscal y de negocios, litigio civil y mercantil, valuación y asesoría financiera y área académica, porque nuestros clientes son nuestros mejores amigos.
Amigos, en tus propias palabras, regresamos. Soy Alejandro Ruiz y estamos aquí platicando con el embajador de Tailandia, Chirachai, Punkrasin. Una pregunta que quisiera hacer al embajador. Durante mucho tiempo se ha visto a México con reservas por el tema de seguridad. ¿Cuál es su expectativa? ¿Cuál es, mejor dicho, cuál es su perspectiva de ella?
For several years now, Mexico has been appreciated by the lack of safety on the streets. What is your personal opinion to this respect?
Well, from my own personal perspective, since being here, I have never felt that I was ever in danger or threatened, and I feel very comfortable being out on the streets. And so being here in Mexico, for me personally, I don't feel much of a threat to my own personal safety. But having said that, of course, being in a big city like Mexico City, you always have to be careful, like being in any big city in the world.
Dice que él personalmente, de su perspectiva, nunca se ha sentido amenazado, no se siente miedo al andar en las calles de aquí en México, pero como en cualquier ciudad del mundo, él piensa que pues, hay que ser cuidadoso.
Y en ese sentido, ¿cómo es la seguridad en Tailandia?
You got that question?
Okay, please, if you want to translate for the people.
Sure, sorry about it. So, touching the same subject, how is the safety there in Thailand?
Well, I think that the situation now has been much improved from several months back. If you may recall, over the last 7 or 8 months, there has been demonstrations and protests on the streets of Bangkok. Sometimes became violent as well, and over almost 30 people lost their lives and many were injured during those protests. But in May of this year, the military decided to intervene and took over the administration of the country in order to restore peace and order and prevent any further violence and chaos in the country.
Que dice que debido a muchos disturbios y protestas en los últimos 7-8 meses hubo una pérdida de vidas de alrededor de 30 personas. Debido a eso el ejército tomó el control de la administración para estabilizar y prevenir que no haya más disturbios de este tipo.
And I think that the military has achieved a certain degree of success in restoring peace and order and stability to the country. And I think that is reflected in the confidence of the Thai people and the domestic consumers in the country, as well as the foreign businessmen, the businesses in Thailand. And the statistics or the numbers that have been coming out over the last few months shows that there's business confidence has returned, and that the exports and has continued to increase, and the tourists coming back to Thailand, and the numbers are steadily increasing again. And so the military has been able to achieve a degree of success in achieving stability and returning economic confidence back to the country.
El señor embajador dice que el ejército ha conseguido un grado de logro de restablecer la paz y la seguridad en las calles, tanto así que incluso el comercio doméstico y tanto los inversores extranjeros, inversionistas extranjeros han vuelto a poner fe en Tailandia y han traído capitales y el turismo se ha vuelto a incrementar.
The military has what we call a roadmap, a 3-stage roadmap. The first stage was, of course, to ensure stability and peace and order and make sure that there's no further demonstrations. And that has been achieved, and I think we are now moving into the second stage where they have appointed a legislative assembly, and which will then appoint a new government to run the country. And the third stage, which will be from now onwards until we expect to, maybe on October next year, 2015, we will move towards reform and then elections.
Okay, dice que el gobierno militar que hoy en día está a cargo ha propuesto un plan de 3 pasos, que consiste el primero en restablecer la paz y el orden para prevenir cualquier tipo de demostraciones. El segundo consiste en formar una asamblea legislativa para elegir el nuevo gobierno que rija a Tailandia, y para el siguiente año, en octubre del 2015, ya se hagan unas elecciones para el gobierno.
Esa sería la tercera etapa.
La tercera etapa.
Embajador, nosotros en México conocemos de Tailandia, y lo digo con todo respeto, quizá la versión de Hollywood. Conocemos poco del país de origen. ¿Cómo poder conocer más de Tailandia, además de las redes sociales?
Mr. Ambassador, here in Mexico we mostly know Thailand through Hollywood, so we really don't know much about that country. How would you advise us to get to know your country better in a more down-to-earth way for all Mexicans?
Well, that is part of what we have been trying to do here at the embassy. Is, as I mentioned earlier, in terms of the people-to-people relations, and part of that is to try to inform the people here in Mexico about Thailand, and so we try to do some activities to promote Thailand and to be enable Mexican people to know more about Thailand, whether it's in the cultural aspect, such as in terms of sports, our national sports, Muay Thai or Thai boxing, or through dance and music.
Dice que es precisamente lo que ha estado tratando de hacer el gobierno, de que se conozcan a través de relaciones personales, un poco más el país, y a través también de actividades, por ejemplo, deportivas como el Muay Thai y el kickboxing, que parece son originarios de allá, para que lo conozca más el público.
Perfect.
And also, of course, one of the things that Thailand is now well known for is Thai food. So we are also trying to promote that here in Mexico, whether it's through activities of the embassy in terms of demonstration, Thai cooking, but also working with Mexican institutions like Mexican universities and cooking schools to try to educate and inform the Mexican public about Thai food, the benefits of Thai food, which is very healthy, but also the taste, which I think is very, should be very attracted to the Mexican palate, because we both like spicy food.
Chili. Dice que otra de las cosas a través de las cuales se puede dar a conocer Tailandia es a través de la comida Thai, que es pues, muy famosa también a nivel mundial, que ha estado en contacto con universidades y con escuelas de cocina para promover con actividades la comida tailandesa, y en la cual ve que un gran potencial, porque parecer compartimos los mexicanos con los tailandeses que nos gusta la comida picante.
Claro, y las especies son exquisitas.
But also the other part is through education, and the Thai embassy is doing what we call the Thai Studies program, where we have a number of activities each year. That includes inviting Mexican professors and academics to visit Thailand and do some research in terms of for short courses, short stays in Thailand for 1 month to 6 weeks, and also to organize visits from Thai professors to come to Mexico to do lectures here in various universities here in Mexico. Part of that program in next month in September, we are organizing a seminar at UNAM Palabras campus, and we will have 2 visiting Thai professors coming to give lectures and also participate in roundtable discussions at the university.
También dice que otra manera de hacerlo es a través de la educación y a través del intercambio cultural por medio de invitaciones de profesores, tanto mexicanos que vayan a tomar cursos de unas cuantas semanas allá a Tailandia, o de profesores tailandeses que vengan aquí a México. Como en septiembre va a tener lugar un curso con la UNAM de Iztapalapa, donde van a venir... UAM, sorry. La UAM Iztapalapa, que van a venir 2 maestros de Tailandia a dar unas pláticas aquí en México.
Mesas redondas.
So it's through these activities that we try to inform the Mexican public about Thailand. But of course also what we also want to try to promote is to have more Mexicans visiting Thailand as tourists or as visitors, exchange programs, so that they can see for themselves what Thailand has to offer, aside from what they can see from Hollywood. And so, so that they can come back and then by word of mouth can tell their friends what Thailand has to offer. I think from what we have observed, there are many more Mexicans going to Thailand now, and it's becoming very popular for young couples to go there for their honeymoon. And so we're very encouraged that the number of tourists between Thailand and Mexico should be increasing in the coming years.
Otra parte muy importante y que piensa que es lo mejor es que vayan personas en calidad de turistas a visitar Tailandia, que se ha incrementado mucho el número de parejas recién casadas de mexicanos que van a Tailandia y pasan un buen momento allá.
Algo que es importante, existen programas, lo mencionaba, programas académicos. ¿Cuántas becas, si existe el dato, hay de Tailandia a México?
Okay. As you already mentioned, there are certain exchanges for students. Can you give us like an approximate of how many of these students go back and forth from Thailand to Mexico and vice versa? Those exchanges?
Well, I don't have exact numbers because most of these programs they are done through exchange programs, whether through the educational institutions, like through the universities. We have, I believe, a number of Mexican students, exchange students in Thailand at the moment. Unfortunately, we don't have so many here in Mexico. The last time I saw, we had 4 or 5 who were at the University of Colima doing an exchange program. But at the younger level, we have exchange programs under the American Field Service, the AFS, high school students who come here for 1 year and live with the Mexican families, and also through the Rotary Club. And I think each year we have maybe about 20 Thai students coming under both programs. And I imagine perhaps the same number of Mexican students in Thailand as well.
Dice que no tiene el número exacto en cuanto a los intercambios de estudiantes, pero que hoy en día hay más mexicanos estudiando en Tailandia que tailandeses en México, que aproximadamente la última vez que vio eran 4 o 5 tailandeses aquí en México, pero que hay unos programas de intercambio a niveles más pequeños como de primaria, donde sí es más factible que pase esto, que calcula que hay alrededor de unos 20 niños que vienen aproximadamente al año y un mismo número de niños mexicanos que vayan a Tailandia.
Y en ese sentido hay algo que me llama la atención. México o los mexicanos no estamos acostumbrados a los gobiernos militares. ¿Cómo vender esa idea de que no hay nada de riesgo en un gobierno militar para las familias mexicanas, que somos conservadoras?
Since the Mexicans are not used to deal with like military regimes ruling the government, how can you explain or how can you sell the image that it's safe to go travel a country under these circumstances there?
Well, thank you very much. I think we have to go back and look at the history of Thailand. We are, as a democracy, we are about 82 years or 80 some years as a democracy. And during that period, we had quite often military intervention and military rule during that period. I think as a democracy, Thailand is still in the process of developing its own democratic system, and quite often we have reached situations where we have had political conflict, impasse, and it just seemed that there would be just no way out. And that's precisely what happened recently because of the conflict and the demonstration and the protests we had since November, December last year. It forced, the situation became such that we had no way out. The politicians were not able to resolve the problem, and so the situation was deteriorating, getting worse, and the military was forced to intervene.
Dice que para responder la pregunta tendríamos que irnos un poco al pasado, que han sido 82 años de una democracia, tiempo durante el cual ha habido varias intervenciones militares, y que pues siguen en el proceso de desarrollar su propio estilo o gobierno democrático en Tailandia. Desafortunadamente, como hubo en las protestas de diciembre pasado, pues los políticos no podían abandonar el país y no podían resolver todas las situaciones por ellos mismos debido a la intervención militar.
But I think although the military was forced to intervene to restore peace and order now and to try to restore the country and the economy, but I think the ultimate aim is to try to restore democracy in Thailand, and that is the aim of the roadmap that I mentioned earlier, so that from now until October next year, we'll try to institute reforms and try to resolve some of the differences that had existed in the country, the differences that made political conflict and made it difficult for government to resolve any of the problems in the country. So our aim is to try to will be to restore democracy, but also to make it a stronger democracy, a more stable democracy, so that we do not have a repeat of what the problems we had over the last few years.
Dice que gracias a que el objetivo del gobierno militar es restablecer la democracia para resolver los problemas y restablecer tanto la paz como la situación económica en el país, eso es lo que beneficia y hace un lugar seguro a Tailandia para ir, y se verá ya en el octubre del año que viene cuando concluya la tercera fase del plan que tienen para establecer su propia democracia.
So, to summarize, in short, it's really an attempt to restore democracy and to create a more stable democracy. So this is a transitional period, a period where we are trying to institute changes so that we have a stronger democracy at the end of all of this. So I think that throughout this entire process, I think Thailand has now pretty much returned to normal in terms of the everyday life, and trade and businesses is going on as normal. So we are seeing that tourists are starting to come back. They can see that nothing really has changed in terms of what the country has to offer and the security for visitors coming to Thailand.
Dice que todo esto es un proceso transicional para restablecer la democracia, y que se aprecia ya en las calles una restitución de la vida habitual en el día a día. Los turistas han regresado y que se siente un espíritu de seguridad en las calles como antes.
¿Cuál ha sido el costo de la democracia?
What has been the cost of achieving this democracy?
Well, I think it's again throughout history. The cost has been, of course, quite heavy at times in terms of cost, in terms of lives, people's lives struggling for democracy. When I was a student growing up in Thailand, that was when there was our first really mass struggle, mass movement for democracy in 1974, where students came out in protest, and several 100,000 students came out, and the military regime was forced to leave the country, leave the government, and also to leave the country. So in that struggle, many people lost their lives. And so the cause of Thai democracy has not been easy, and it has not been cheap. And so it's something that I think all Thais value because of the struggle and the cost that it has taken on the country. But at the same time, having said that, it also is an evolving process, because what we had achieved was not always successful, and we had to find our way through trial and error. Some things work, some things not work. And so we're still going through this process of building our democracy in Thailand.
Dice que el costo a través de la historia mayormente ha sido el costo de vidas. Cuando él en 1974 era un estudiante fue cuando fue el mayor enfrentamiento de masas para protestar, tanto así que forzó al régimen militar no solo a abandonar el poder, sino también el país. Dice que esto es un proceso y que están conscientes los tailandeses de que es un proceso y que todavía no alcanzan la perfección de su democracia, pero que tienen en mente el costo que les ha llevado el proceso de perfeccionar su democracia, por lo cual siguen adelante en ello.
¿Qué debemos de aprender los mexicanos de la democracia de Tailandia y qué debemos de admirar?
What could the Mexican people learn from the Thailand democracy, and what could we admire from it?
Well, I think, as I said, I think Thai democracy is still work in progress. We have not yet achieved full democracy. We had encountered many problems along the way, and we are still trying to solve many of these problems. But I think certainly we share with the Mexican people the value of democracy, the belief in democracy, and I think that we certainly have these values of democracy and freedom and liberty in common. And I think that certainly many things that we can learn from Mexico. I have, since I arrived, I have been very much admired the success of the administration and the ability of the government to work together to achieve the objectives to beat the country's interests.
Okay. He says that, dice que como su democracia todavía sigue en proceso de perfeccionamiento, pues todavía no puede decir qué es lo que debemos de admirar, pero lo que sí ve que compartimos es los valores de libertad, de esfuerzo conjunto, y lo que él ha percibido desde que ha estado en México es la habilidad del gobierno, de la administración y del gobierno para conseguir consensos y activar planes aquí en la ciudad.
Mm-hmm. In fact, one of the things that I admire very much as coming here was the fact that the different political parties were able to come together and to work together and form the Pacto por Mexico. I wish the political parties in Thailand could do the same thing, because that's one of the problems that we've had, that the parties could not work together, and so that we had the political divisions in Thailand, which became very, very serious and very deep.
Otra cosa que le he admirado es cómo todos nuestros partidos políticos se han podido sentar a platicar y trabajar juntos para conseguir el Pacto por México, que le gustaría que ese tipo de colaboración se diera ya en su país para evitar estos enfrentamientos.
Perfecto. Dado el tiempo, solo voy a hacer dos preguntas. La primera, ¿cuál es el papel de la mujer en Tailandia?
Due to our time restrictions, he is going to end the interview with only two questions. The first one of which is, what is the role of the Thai woman in your country?
Oh, that's a very, very good question. I think Thai women have been very important role in Thai society. Often there is a saying that the elephant, which is like the national symbol of Thailand, that the man is the front legs and the women is the hind legs, and together they move forward. But I think that Thai women now have become really important players in the whether it's in economy, in social activities. just to give you an example, in my own ministry, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Thailand, over half of the officers are women now. So it's just an example of how the important role they play in Thai society now.
El embajador dice que el papel de la mujer en Tailandia es muy importante y lo ha sido siempre, tanto que la mitad de su staff de representación aquí en la embajada son mujeres, tanto socialmente como en la economía de Tailandia representan un papel muy importante, y menciona que tienen un dicho, que el elefante, que es el símbolo nacional de Tailandia, el hombre representa las dos patas delanteras del elefante y la mujer las dos patas traseras.
Okay. Finalmente, esta pregunta me gustaría hacerla yo. Finally, this question I would like to do. Finalmente me gustaría hacer esta última pregunta. Mr. Chirachai Punkrasin, in your own words, who are you? Señor embajador Chirachai Punkrasin, en sus propias palabras, ¿quién es usted?
Well, I think for me, I think I would characterize myself as internationalist, someone who has been brought up in an international environment since a very young age, traveling all over the world, and then continuing as a student, and then into my career as a foreign service officer, being posted and working in various countries around the world. So I think I look at myself as an internationalist, someone who has, because of my experience in living in various parts of the world, I think I have a understanding and an appreciation of different cultures, different peoples from all over the world, and so I think that my life has been enriched by these experiences, and I think that through that I hope that I can also teach other people or share my experiences with other people, so that they have a better appreciation of the world at large, and perhaps some countries such as Mexico. When I go back to Thailand, of course I will tell my friends and family and anyone who would like to listen, about what Mexico has to offer, and that we really are living in a much smaller world now. That travel and is so much easier. Travel and communication is so much easier now, and that basically people are not so different really after all. Although you may be separated by a big ocean or something, but deep down I think people are very much the same, and especially I think Thai and Mexican people are very similar, and that's why I feel very much at home here, and I'm sure that Mexicans going to Thailand will find that they share many similarities with the Thai people as well.
Okay. El señor embajador se considera a sí mismo un ser cosmopolita debido desde que muy joven viajó a través del mundo y después por su trabajo de ser un representante de su país, que ha llegado a apreciar todas las diferencias, afinidades y las particularidades culturales de los demás países, y que a él le gustaría que también otras personas, lo ha enriquecido mucho este contacto con tantas culturas, y que a él le gustaría estar siempre en contacto con otras personas para que él también pueda aportar sus experiencias a los demás, que ha encontrado que en todo el mundo la gente realmente no es tan diferente, a pesar de que nos separa un gran océano, y dice que particularmente entre el pueblo mexicano y el tailandés ha encontrado muchas similitudes.
Embajador, gracias por estar aquí. Es un gran honor.
Thanks so much for being here. It's been an honor.
And when you came to Mexico, Astel started his job.
Okay, and he said that when you came to Mexico, ASTL started working.
Cuando él llegó a México, nosotros empezamos a transmitir.
No, actually, he's saying that when you came to Mexico is when ASTL started functioning.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's been a pleasure to be with you and with your viewers today. Thank you very much.
Gracias. Agradecemos mucho la presencia del embajador Chirachai Punkrasin, obviamente embajador de Tailandia. Agradecemos mucho la traducción que nos hizo favor de hacer Ernesto Terroba. Gracias, Ernesto. Es un honor para mí, Alejandro Ruiz, es un honor haber tenido esta oportunidad. Gracias y regresamos. Esto es En Tus Propias Palabras.